At my sister's wedding, held in a sterile modern art museum, I handed her the deed to a $550,000 fully paid loft. She looked at it, laughed in front of 220 guests, and said, "This isn't the aesthetic I wanted. I'm not creating content in some old warehouse district." I smiled. And a switch. Something I didn't even know existed. Just flipped. Have you ever been the responsible one in your family? The one who cleans up all the messes? The one who actually has a plan? Let me know your story down in the comments. I'd love to know I'm not alone. My name is Juniper Hayes. I'm 35 years old. A senior architect. I live by blueprints, by concrete pours and load-bearing walls, by straight lines that mean something. My job is to take an abstract idea and turn it into a structure that can withstand gravity, something that can withstand time. My sister, Chloe, is 27. She's a lifestyle influencer. She lives by vibes, by aesthetics and personal branding. Her job is to turn her life into an abstract idea. And for the last 3 years, that abstract idea has been funded entirely by my concrete reality. It started when she decided she needed a luxury, high-rise apartment downtown. She couldn't pass the credit check. So I co-signed. When the first month's rent was late, I paid it, $3,500. Then I just set up the recurring transfer. I labeled it temporary support. In my world, temporary means maybe 6 months. In Chloe's world, temporary apparently means 36 months and counting. 2 summers ago, she called me crying from some matcha cafe. Her old car was off-brand. It was, she said, hurting her image. Her new financier boyfriend, Leo, told her that image was everything. So I went to a Lexus dealership. I put $30,000 down on a new Lexus RX. I put the lease entirely in my name. I added her to my insurance. She didn't say thank you. She just asked if it came in white. After that, the Venmo requests became a constant, buzzing hum in my pocket. A notification, hydrating skincare routine, $400. A notification, lens upgrade for content creation, $900. Compation lens upgrade. A notification, Bali branding workshop, $2,000. A notification for porcelain veneers, brand alignment. That one was $22,000. And I paid for all of it. You're probably asking why? Why would I let this happen? Why would I enable it? I used to tell myself it was just what families do, that it wasn't weakness, but I've learned what it really is. It's called the competence trap. It's a psychological phenomenon that happens to the most competent person in any family. You automatically take on every responsibility, every burden, every bill, simply because you know that if you don't do it, no one else can, or no one else will. It's not weakness. It's the crushing burden of being the only one who knows how. My mother, Brenda, is the queen of reinforcing this trap. She's always whispering, "You have a real career. Juniper, you build things." Chloe, she's building an image. It's fragile. Be gentle. Don't break it. So I didn't break it. I paid to protect her fragile image, month after month, until that moment, at her wedding. So, back to the wedding. The reception was in the museum's main atrium. 220 guests, a ceiling draped in thousands of white orchids, a string quartet playing something that sounded expensive and thin. I arrived late. I'd been at a site walkthrough for a new tower, and a concrete pour had gone wrong. I didn't have time to change. I just wiped my hands, threw on a blazer, and went I could still smell the faint, dusty scent of concrete on my clothes. There was probably a smudge of it on my blazer. And I didn't care. In my charcoal gray folio, I had the gift. It wasn't cash. It wasn't a check. It was the deed. It was for a loft in a reclaimed industrial building. A project I had personally consulted on 2 years ago. It wasn't in the trendy, sterile high-rise district where I paid her rent. It was in the old warehouse quarter. A place with history. A place being reborn. It was beautiful. Exposed original brick. 18-foot ceilings. Massive. Floor-to-ceiling steel frame windows that caught the morning light. It had what I call good bones. It was a gift of structure. A gift of stability. A foundation. Something real. I thought she would cry. I thought she would understand. The DJ stopped the music. The MC, a guy in a painfully tight velvet jacket, announced, "And now, a special gift from the bride's sister and maid of honor, Juniper Hayes." I stood up, walked to the small stage. The 220 faces blurred. I handed Chloe the folio. My hands were steady. I was proud of that. She slid the deed out, her acrylic nails clicking on the heavy paper. She read the address. Her smile froze. Then, she tilted her head back and let out a high, performance-level laugh. "Oh, Junie," she said, projecting to the room. "Is this a joke, the aesthetic?" She waved the paper like it was a bad review. "A warehouse district. Seriously, who even lives there?" She looked at her new husband, Leo, and laughed again. "The light is terrible for content." The room joined in, an awkward, confused ripple of laughter. They thought she was kidding. Leo just stared at his champagne glass. I felt the heat rise up my neck. I looked at my mother, Brenda. She wasn't laughing. She was looking at me. Her lips pressed into a thin, angry line. Chloe pushed the folio back into my hands. "Next time," she whispered, her smile tight and bright for the cameras, "just ask for my mood board first." "Okay, it'll save you the embarrassment." The MC coughed and said, "All right, let's get those speeches started." And the room moved on. The string quartet started playing again. I sat down. My chair scraped against the polished concrete floor, loud in the sudden silence at our table. My mother leaned in, her voice a hiss. "Juniper, don't make that face. You're making it more awkward. Just smile." So I did. I smiled. Because she was right. It wasn't awkward. It was clear. The load-bearing wall inside my head, the one I'd been reinforcing for a decade, had just developed a catastrophic structural failure. And as an architect, I know exactly what you do when that happens. You don't patch it. You plan the demolition. I sat through the speeches. I didn't hear a word. I heard the click. The sound of a connection breaking. The sound of a blueprint being ripped in half. My uncle stood up and said I had always been the rock of the family. He meant it as a compliment. It sounded like a diagnosis. When the music swelled and the dance floor filled with expensive fabrics and fake smiles, I stood up. I didn't go to the bar. I didn't go to the exit. I found a quiet corner in the adjoining gallery, right next to a massive, twisted sculpture of rusted steel beams. It looked like a building that had collapsed in on itself. I felt a sense of kinship with it. I took out my phone. The screen cast a cool white light on my hands. My fingers didn't shake. I'm an architect. I'm methodical. I opened my banking app. I navigated to bill pay. Then, recurring payments. I saw the line item, Chloe rent, $3. Wubei. scheduled for the first of the month, just like it had been for 36 months. I tapped on it. The app asked, "Are you sure you want to cancel this recurring payment?" I thought about the terrible light. I thought about my mood board. I thought about the $30,000 car and the $22,000 veneers and the endless, whining stream of Venmo requests. I pressed confirm. The screen flashed. Payment canceled. It was that simple. A foundation I had laid and a foundation I had just removed. Next, I opened my email. I started a new draft. To Mark, Levinson@law.com. Melavier. Subject family matters, action required. I wrote Mark. Please begin the formal repossession process for the Lexus RX. VIN number. Currently in my sister Chloe's possession. The lease is entirely in my name. Additionally, please draft a formal debt repayment agreement for all personal loans advanced to her. I am attaching a master spreadsheet with a full ledger, including dates, amounts, and purpose. We will need to discuss garnishment options if she refuses. Regards, Juniper Hayes. I found the file on my phone. Project, Chloe, Master, Ledger. XLS, Exis. I tapped it. Attak. I read the email one more time. It was precise. It was clean. There was no emotion in it. It was a technical document. An instruction for deconstruction? I pressed send. I looked at the steel sculpture next to me. And as I hit send, I finally understood my sister. She wasn't powerful. She wasn't a brand. She was suffering from the illusion of power from an empty wallet. It's a psychological state. People who live entirely off the money and resources of others, like Chloe, have to build an elaborate fantasy of aesthetics, taste, and vision to hide the simple, cold truth. They have no actual power. They have no money. They have no foundation. Their contempt for bad light or the wrong neighborhood isn't arrogance. It's terror. It's the desperate fear of being exposed. Chloe's entire personal brand was just a shimmering, beautiful facade built on my foundation. And I, the architect, had just pulled the cornerstone. I was curious to see how long it would take for the whole pretty, fragile thing to fall down. I didn't even make it to the exit. They cornered me by the dessert wall, a 3-tiered monstrosity of macarons and tiny cheesecakes. Chloe came first. Her face blotchy red under the expensive makeup. There was a smear of cream cheese frosting on her wrist. "What is wrong with you?" she hissed. Her voice low and furious. "You're trying to ruin my night. You embarrassed me." Leo, the groom, followed behind her, looking at the floor, at the ceiling, at anything but me. "Juniper," he said softly. We appreciated the thought. Really, but we just had a different vision. A vision. The word they used to justify everything. Then, my mother, Brenda, swept in, clasping her hands together in that familiar gesture of false diplomacy. Her voice was sweet, but her eyes were like ice. "Juniper, honey, don't be so rigid." She cooed. "It was a mistake. We get it. You can just sell the apartment? It's fine. Just sell it and give them the cash for a down payment on a place they actually like. Somewhere nicer." She smiled, as if this was a perfectly reasonable solution, as if I was the problem. "Don't be so selfish. Juniper, stop making this about you." Selfish. I repeated the word. It felt foreign. "It's not about me. It's literally about money." Mom, Brenda's face tightened. Don't make a scene, she whispered. I'm not, I said. My voice was calm, colder than I expected. But you're right. We should be clear on the finances. I took out my phone, the same phone I had just used to send the email. Chloe rolled her eyes. Oh my God. Are you going to show us Zillow listings now? We're not interested. No, I said. I opened my spreadsheets. I found the file. I turned the phone so all three of them could see it. The screen glowing under the museum's track lighting. At the top, in a bold, clean font, was the file name, Project Chloe Master Ledger XLXX. Chloe's face went white. What? What is that? Leo asked, frowning. I'm an architect, I said, keeping my voice level. I keep a budget for every project. I started reading the line items. My voice didn't waver. Item, luxury apartment leases. 36 months, at $3,500. Total $126,000. Item, Lexus RX lease down payment. Total $30,000. Item, brand alignment, porcelain veneers. Total $22,000. Item, miscellaneous content creation costs. Via Venmo. Past 24 months. Total $41,700. I scrolled down. Item, Bali branding workshop. 2,000. Item, hydrating skincare. 400. Item, lens upgrade. Nina Huna. I looked up at them. The current grand total, not including the wedding bar tab you tried to send me, is $219,700. There was a dead silence. The string quartet sounded miles away. Chloe finally found her voice, letting out a sharp, ugly laugh. You're obsessed. You're keeping score. What kind of sick person does that? I'm not keeping score. Chloe, I said, I'm keeping a ledger. It's what you do with a project that's bleeding money and showing no return on investment. Leo, the finance guy, just stared at the screen. He looked like he was going to be sick. He peered closer, as if he couldn't believe the numbers. His voice was a hoarse whisper. You've been paying her rent the whole time. Chloe turned on Leo, eyes flashing with panic. Don't be naive. Leo, it's not a big deal. Juniper just likes helping. It's what she does. I watched Leo's face fall, the vision he'd clung to finally collapsing. He looked at her, then at me, then back at the spreadsheet. No words, just silence. I tried to leave, but they cornered me by the dessert wall. Sugar sweet and suffocating. Chloe's face was red, streaked with makeup and frosting. What is wrong with you? She hissed. You're ruining my night. Leo trailed behind, avoiding my eyes. Juniper, we appreciated it. Really? But we just had a different vision. A vision? Their word for manipulation? Then my mother, Brenda, appeared smiling sweetly, eyes cold. Honey, just sell the apartment. Give them the cash. Don't be so rigid. He blinked. It's not about me. It's about money. Don't make a scene, she warned. I'm not. I pulled out my phone. Chloe rolled her eyes. Are you showing us Zillow listings now? No. I opened my spreadsheet. Project Chloe Master Ledger XLSX. Chloe went pale. Leo frowned. I keep budgets, I said. It's what architects do. I read the numbers aloud. Apartment lease $126. Ling ling ling. Lexus down payment $30. Ling ling ling. Veneers $22. Ling ling ling. Miscellaneous Venmo costs $41. T-Bay. Total $219. T-Bay. The silence was louder than the string quartet. Chloe laughed sharply. You're obsessed. Who keeps score like that? I'm not keeping score. I said, I'm keeping records. For a project that's bleeding money. Leo stared at the screen. Sickened. You paid her rent. Don't be naive, Chloe snapped. She likes playing hero. And that was the moment he saw the truth. The aesthetic died. Okay, I said. I'm done. The rent transfer's canceled. The Lexus keys. Please. Juniper, my mother hissed. You're embarrassing this family. No. You did that yourselves. I extended my hand. Chloe. The keys. Her expression cracked. I saw every dollar of her brand flicker behind her eyes. Finally, she dug into her tiny purse, slapped the fob into my palm, and looked away. I turned to my mother. Don't call me about this. Ever. Then I walked out, lighter than I'd felt in years. At home, I opened the envelope the wedding planner had given me. Emails from Chloe Upgrade, the bar, Bill Juniper. She likes feeling needed. Honeymoon suite Bill Juniper. Confetti cannons Bill Juniper. Cold confirmation. A text buzzed from Leo, I'm sorry. I saw the emails. I'm not going on the honeymoon. Monday, my lawyer sent the demand letter. Tuesday, the Lexus was towed. The family group chat exploded. I sent 2 attachments, Project, Chloe, Master, Ledger, PDF and wedding, invoices, scanned, PDF then muted it. Months later, I stood in my new studio, the same loft Chloe once called too harsh. Morning light flooded the brick walls. It was honest. It was mine. They say blood is thicker than water, but I'm an architect. I know better. Not all structures deserve to stand.